Entonces es un aspecto que definitivamente hay que evaluar. Y está la parte del sueño, importantísimo. Cada vez me doy cuenta que es un aspecto que fallamos muchos y no le damos la importancia que se debe y que afecta muchos aspectos de ese homeostasis, de la habilidad del cuerpo de sanarse a sí mismo. Y mi preferida, la nutrición y la cocina. Me dediqué a eso, sin embargo, cualquier intake, cada vez que recibo una persona para ser ayudada, aunque la persona viene a mí porque tengo el sombrero de nutrición,
Susan,
¿sí?
sorry, we're going to have to switch to English.
¿Sí? I'm sorry, okay.
English it is.
Okay.
English it is, I'm sorry. Okay. So I was saying that even though most people come to me for nutrition, because I wear that hat mostly, there's no way I can see the holistic version of the person sitting in front of me if I don't address the rest of the pillars. And so, and some people, I have to be honest, some people will come to me with the deep desire and almost resolution that they want a diet and they want a supplement to get fixed and heal. And there is no way I can do that because sometimes it is maybe stress or lack of sleep. And for that person, it does not matter how much omega-3 or broccoli I give to that person. If I don't address the stress, that person will not experience healing. So these are the pillars. And of course, I will focus on nutrition. And again, if you have any question at this point, be happy to answer. We can go to the next one. And so untangle your flow. There's a whole lecture that I give on this topic, but I wanted to put it there. In Chinese medicine, but it's in integrative medicine too, healing or health happens where there is a free flow of energy. That's the definition. And when we get stuck, that's what disease happens. And so sometimes I get a person that comes with a concern or a problem or anything. And I need to untangle that and see, you know, they truly believe it's in their stomach, the problem. They truly believe that it's after eating and they get bloating and they want me to fix that. But again, I need to untangle that and see maybe the problem is not really there, but it's somewhere else. So the same concept as lifestyle. And then once we start doing that, we can experience healing. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Yeah, and the next one. So for most of you, you know, and I've written a cookbook that also belongs to WISO, and it's to help WISO. And my book and my 20 years and so of doing integrative medicine, I've dedicated myself to inflammation and immunity. It just happens that that's where I've been concentrating, and never has been more relevant to deal with inflammation and immunity than right now. So these are two very important words, and I feel that, and I can tell you that now 60% of my practice is after COVID patients. And so 60% of my practice, that's incredible. I've never had that switch. It's dealing with the aftermath of COVID, and I deal, of course, with inflammation and immunity. And yes, I intervene mostly with food, and these are markers that I can actually see, you know, by changing this lifestyle and food, I can see inflammation going down. And inflammation is not only relevant in COVID, just happens to be very hot topic right now, but inflammation is actually, systemic inflammation is the common denominator for most chronic diseases. And so if you have one thing that it's common to most standard diseases in America, inflammation will be the one thing. And so, and we're very good dealing with inflammation through food and lifestyle, extremely efficient, more than extremely efficient. Of course, you need accountability and you need discipline and you need to want to do it. But most of the time, we're really useful there. Immunity, I deal with the health of your gut, this incredible ecosystem that we have of macrobiotic, the macrobiome. We're just starting to fully understand what's going on there. And it's beautiful. I think it's the future of medicine. I think dealing with your gut health has everything to do with your mental health, with your, of course, immune system, and with your overall health. It's not only about having supplements of probiotics, not at all. It's more about the prebiotic. It's more about the health of your soil. Think about a beautiful ecosystem of millions and billions of different plants. And so you need all of this information. You need a healthy soil. You need good food to keep that flourishing. And so I deal with inflammation and immunity, and I make menus and dietary changes, and at the end, a great recipe, and we cook, and all this information becomes a beautiful dish. And so,
Susan, I'm going to interrupt. There's a question
yes,
that came very relevant
sure.
to what you're talking right now, and I actually want to flag it as moderator. I will say most of the questions we're going to say at the end, and sometimes a question is going to come that's going to be relevant in the middle of whatever Susan's talking about. Susan, Laura asked, in which way does inflammation reflect on the body? As in, how does it manifest that we can pick up?
Okay, that's a great question. So there's two types of inflammation. So there's the inflammation that you have when, let's say, you hit your arm and your arm becomes red and inflamed and with pain. That's a classic acute inflammation. And that's not the inflammation I'm talking about. That's a healthy response. Again, your body, it's programmed to heal. So it does all these things. That the pain, it's an alert. The swallowing, bringing blood to the tissue so it can repair faster. And so that's an acute inflammation. The type of inflammation that I'm talking about, it's systemic inflammation. It's on a cellular level. You can measure that on a blood test to see how much systemic inflammation you have. But inflammation can be seen as an autoimmune condition. It can be manifested as eczema. It can be manifested in diabetes. We know there's systemic inflammation. As I said, most chronic diseases they have high levels of inflammation in the body, and it happens very slow. It's chronic. It's over time. You know, it's the abuse of food and not having this balance of exercise and breathing. And so it happens on a cellular level. It's chronic, it's silent, and it leads to disease. So I hope I answered that.
Susan, can you add what it does to joints and aging, as far as?
So it definitely accelerates aging. It definitely accelerates aging. To joints, again, it can be as bad as to trigger an autoimmune condition. It can cause a lot of pain and inflammation in the joints. So it can be localized. So sometimes it's completely reversible, sometimes most of the time it's completely reversible, which is incredible. Again, it needs a little bit of discipline and willing, and it doesn't come on a bottle, and it's not immediate. It takes commitment, but mostly understanding that your body is trying to tell you something, and that is huge. Remember, that's how we started integrative medicine, the definition. It's your body is trying to tell you something, and that there is something you're doing not fully right. Either the food, the way you sleep, the way you communicate, your environment, all those pillars that we mentioned.
Susan, are you diving into also the intolerance and some food intolerance that's gonna?
Yeah, we're gonna try to go through food, definitely.
Got it.
We can go to the next slide. Okay, so food, that's my best one. Food, so hard to talk about food, and then and yet so easy. So there's so many books, so much information, so many doctors and trends and keto and gluten, and I think it's overwhelming. I think it's way too much. And so I like simple. I really like to change lives. I need to communicate whatever I passionately believe in very simple terms. And I believe that the simplest way to make the smartest decision about food, without belonging to any other religion and cult and book and changing every year, it's to avoid processed food. So that's it. So if you avoid processed food, everyone can agree you will see incredible changes in your diet. Not only you will see in your health, not only you see changes in your health, but most of the rest of the information, the dense information, will come along. I'll give you an example. So first, I hope everyone really understand the true meaning of non-processed food. So when I say no processed food, it's food that it's real, that has very little ingredients. The less ingredients, the better. Ingredients that you can pronounce. Ingredients that if you're not sure, you Google and you make sure they're from a natural place. Words like natural, organic, yogi, I can't even, they mean nothing. You go to ingredients and you read your ingredients, and they should be real food. That's it. The moment you take that um, into account, the moment you take the decision that you will have no processed food in your life, guess what? You will eat more fiber, you will eat less sugar, you will eat more colors and phytonutrients. Everything will be in place just by making that decision. You will automatically eat healthy fats. You will eat low glycemic, everything that it's so important, and it has so much value to it, it will come to place. So if I have to pick one thing, I will say just be very clean in your diet. Cook more, and be very clean in your diet. Then when you talk about inflammation, and that's what I concentrate, then I also talk about the idea of mostly plant-based protein. And so we don't promote that everyone should be vegetarian or vegan. And by the way, as in and when I say we, it's the inflammation diet, we believe that everyone needs a different diet. So some people do need to become vegan, some people need to become keto. So it's very bio-individual. However, even the people that need meat, they will need way less meat that we're used to eat. So 80-20 is the percentage of anti-inflammatory diet. 80% of your protein should be plant-based, lentils, quinoa, chickpeas, tofu, all of that. And 20% can be animal. And I'm sorry, the 80% also will include wild fish. And so that ratio, even the people that I believe they need meat, they need in those ratios. So mostly plant-based. And then
Susan,
of course,
can you dive a little bit into also, because you said that you separate one with the other. It's also important that if somebody is like highly intolerant to like beans and grains, and they have like a natural reaction,
yeah,
that it's not like everything
yeah.
for everybody. That's why it's so tailor made on what you do.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I will say that it's very important that you also open your mind, in the sense that I don't like the idea that you define yours. I've always eat, they always make me feel bloated. This has always in my family. I have people that come with these labels and these, I don't know how to say, just
Preconceived
limits.
notions.
As,
Preconceived notions.
exactly, as if you were an individual, that you have one information and you get stagnated there, as if your body doesn't change. And so if the grains or the plant-based protein does not agree with you, first of all, we have thousands of different variations of plant-based protein, so there will be enough plant-based protein for you. And also, I have many tips and ways to pre-digest the grains that are sometimes hard to digest. So you get tricks. You get the cooking your beans with kombu, cooking your with baking powder. There are tricks you can do to pre-digest that, so that guess what? You also teach your metabolism to digest that. Now, if you can't, you can't, and then we'll figure it out. But there's no excuse. There's no reason why to eat 3 times a day red meat. That would be an excuse. There are options. Yeah, we can go to the next one. So of course, part of the nutrition and there's always supplements and the question of supplements. There's no way I can talk about supplements in this lecture. Too many, and again, everyone needs different supplementation. Having said that, I am a big believer that most of your vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients should come from food and are best in food and are most bioavailable in food. And I believe that nature is extremely wise and much smarter than any of us that can do in any lab. And so, you know, vitamin C, the way that it comes in grapefruit, has so many other ingredients and actives that make that vitamin C much more absorbable. Having said that, there are moments and there are times that we do need that extra help, that we do need supplements, and there are many reasons for that. From the food not being the way it used to be, extra stress, and many other things. But supplement is something that has to be very individual, and there is no one, you know, supplements for everyone.
Susan, can you mention a copy of the, because can you just mention a few of the supplements? I mean, just as an idea, spirulina, cod
like
liver,
for what? Oh
like
my
in
God,
general,
there's
like
1,000.
ideas. You know, it's very interesting because I feel that most people like don't generally like even realize that like something that you were given as a kid, because a lot of us were like forced to like have that cod liver oil. Like you didn't realize that like old school, they really like knew what they were doing.
Right.
And, so again, and now they call it a supplement, but before it was just like, okay, take it and shut up.
That was nasty. That was nasty. I know. I remember that.
Now it comes flavored with lemon juice. It's fine. Now
that's worst. So again, I don't know. I mean, if there's any specific supplement that you want me to talk, but there's thousands and thousands of supplements. If you want me to say
just in general, like if you want to just categorize it, like into omegas, like what spirulina can do, like all the algae
based ones.
I know, like just like different avenues, so we can have ideas.
If you have the vitamins, and then not everyone needs vitamins if you have a whole foods diet. And so, right now in COVID, we know that vitamin D3 and vitamin C are really, really important right now to prevent and to treat and the aftermath. Then you have zinc. I'm talking about COVID because I need to take one subject, otherwise it's impossible. And then I know that you heard about zinc, which is a mineral. So you have the vitamins and then you have the minerals. Zinc, it's shown to have very, very great antiviral and protective properties. So we promote zinc. Zinc, it's super hard with the stomach, so we need to play with the dosages in zinc. So the recommendation is 50, but I can only take 30, for example, and then after food. So every mineral.
And there's people that have to take it, Susan. There's people that have to take the zinc like every other day. I mean, I know that the zinc
it's a problem.
Yes,
it's definitely a problem. Yeah, it is for me. And then you have phytonutrients, which are the actives of plants. And then if I'm talking about COVID related, then quercetin, it's a wonderful supplement for as an antihistaminic and inflammation. Um, then you have herbs like astragalus, which is an antiviral, which is absolutely wonderful. It depends when you take it and how you take it. Then you have the mushrooms for immunity, which are incredible. So again, it depends the conditions. There are many supplements. It's impossible to cover all the supplements. It is crucial that you know that not all supplements are made the same, meaning an omega from a bad lab, it's worse, that it's horrible. I mean, it can be horrible. So you do need to do your homework with the company that you use your any supplements. So do your homework. It's very important. Don't just buy the first cheap Costco version of anything, because it can do more harm than good. We can change to the next one. And then stress. It's funny, stress, it's a big one. It's a big one. And sometimes people know they're stressed, and sometimes they don't even know they're stressed. Um, Stress manifests in many different ways, and it can affect all parts of your life. The way you relate to food, it affects the way you sleep, the way you communicate with others. So it really can affect any of the circles that we mentioned before. And the most important thing is to just at first identify, am I stressed, and how can I feel better, and can I release, and how can I stop, how can I stop my mind and this chattering and this maybe pessimistic narrative that I have in my head. And it's about that. It's about changing how you narrate your life, because even in the worst moments, we can narrate things differently and more positively and loving and with an open heart. There are many tools here, thousands of tools. And it really depends who I have in front. What do I suggest? Again, people always come, I can never meditate. They come with these never sentences that it's hard. But the first thing that I say, don't say never, because there are something tailored for everyone. And there is a way that, and a tool that will suit you. And there is I have tools for the highly intellectual, for the highly spiritual. Again, there are ways to calm your mind and de-stress. There are many different ways to do it, and something that you will like, but it requires discipline, and it requires that you fall in love and that you see the benefits, and then it flows. Um, so I will present some of these uh, ideas to people and how to overcome stress. We can change to the next one. Environment, and by environment, it's like, environment can be your home. Environment can be your how often you go out. Environment, like any plant, it's so important. So you have your genetics, but your environment can really make you thrive or oppress you. So always step out and see, do I maybe need to change my environment so that I feel better? Incredible studies done in this area, where you put the same conditions, one in a very poor environment, dark, the light, all your senses are not being stimulated, versus someone that has that same exact diagnosis in a beautiful and nature environment, caring. Your body, like any plant, responds differently. So look at your environment. Look how can you improve your environment? How can you make it prettier, that you love it more, that you want to stay there? Maybe more alive, flowers, water, noise. To organize your environment, very important. The next one.
Not only that, office space, like everything,
Office
like
space.
people have so much clutter and everything that
Clutter.
it's like so like, and people don't realize.
Exactly. Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Movement. So movement comes, it can come in exercise, but it just any movement. Movement, it's that, remember the definition in traditional Chinese medicine. Health is when there's free flow of energy, free flow of chi. So if we don't move, and we tend to be very static, if we don't move, it's hard to heal. It's hard to, it is very hard, and it will again manifest in eating more, being more stressed, poor sleep. It would just have this ripple effect in all of these areas. And movement doesn't necessarily mean to do 4 times CrossFit a week. I don't mean that. It really depends who I have in front. And so movement for some people can be, every 2 hours stretching your desk. Beautiful, only by doing that. And when you awaken that, and when you realize that you feel good, that there's endorphins, that you're kicking something internally, then you'll do a little bit more. Walking, incredibly, it's the power of walking, especially in nature. So now you're combining everything, the environment, the movement. And so I very much encourage you to whatever you decide to do, one of that exercise, make sure it's in nature, it's outside, it's in the ocean. I mean, we live in Florida, we're so privileged, and I feel people don't use that. And such an easy supplement. Talking about supplement, I mean, that will be my number one. Some people just need to go barefoot on the beach and inhale all that goodness, and appreciate, and just the everyday, So movement again comes in many shapes and
Susan, I'm
forms.
going to interrupt you 2 seconds, just ladies,
Sure.
to let you know that we're having actually a yoga event on the beach. So I want you all to sign up and try to come. Really, we're so blessed. Really, like for those of us who do yoga on the beach, I will tell you that it changes your energy for the rest of your day. We're offering 1 day. Come join us.
Oh, wonderful. And do we have that information? Where can we get the
Yes.
where and the?
So WITSO partnered with the organization called Sunrise Beach Yoga, and for the month of February, they are all donations, because these are class every month. This organization will the classes are donated to any other organization. This month, all the donations for the month of February are going to WITSO. The classes are in Sunny Isles Beach at 6:30 a.m. It's a sunrise. It's really, really amazing. And I'm gonna put after in this chat information about the organization, and you can sign up Monday through Saturday right now, 6:30 a.m.
And then we can go to the next slide. Relationship, I feel that we already talked about relationship, but again, never has been this more strong than in COVID, where we were not allowed to see people and hug people, and we were always able to love and belong and connect, but many aspects of it were missing. But relationships are crucial. You can see where disease happens when people are lonely, and there's also again many studies showing how loneliness can be one of a very cruel way to get very sick. And so the only thing to add to that is, yes, be grateful of your relationship, appreciate and cultivate and care for them, but also maybe look around to see if someone is lonely, if someone needs to talk to you, or you can help, because that could be the single most important thing you can do to another human being, just to connect. And if you feel someone is lonely, you can heal people just by being there and listening to them. And so relationships are a crucial part of health and healing and preventing medicine. Maybe we can go to the next one.
Susan, I had a professor in college that said if you want to live a long life, get married. You'll have somebody to check your moles in your back at least.
Exactly. I found these, which I love, that when I's replaced with we, even illness becomes wellness. And I believe in that, and I believe in community. I believe in friendship. I truly think that to be able to recognize that and nurture that, it's part of the healing and wellness process. Can go to the next one. Again, spirituality comes in many different ways. You can be very religious and not spiritual at all. And so spirituality, even though it's hard to have a definition. I would love to hear a definition if someone has a personal definition. To me, spirituality is when I can connect with something much bigger than myself. When I feel that oneness, and I mean, I can go on and on, so I won't. But spirituality is very personal, and we should go there. Again, I have many people that say, oh, I'm pragmatic, I'm not spiritual. I work with corporate business a lot, and you get that a lot there in that world. But once you dig, I believe everyone is spiritual, and everyone has had a spiritual experience. They just don't recognize it or name it as such. But you can have practice of spirituality through praying, through meditation, through dance, music, giving back. So yeah, there's many ways to connect with that, and it's
manifesting is a very strong one, by the way, Susan.
Absolutely.
I think that manifesting is a very big healer.
Exactly. Absolutely. The next one. Sleep, I already mentioned, but sleep, listen, it's your reset. It's where healing happens. So we can be very calm, do exercise, eat the right foods, do everything that we mentioned before. But if we don't sleep, if we don't have a restful sleep, that information doesn't connect. So healing happens at night. And now we have so much information, scientific information about the importance of sleep, of the different phases of sleep, and how we really need to pay attention. And again, this is an area that I spend a lot of time with whatever I have in front of me, because they come with this idea of I've always slept 3 hours. My family sleeps 3 hours, all these preconceptions that are just wrong, because, you are also human. And this is, sometimes there's a need. And so as important as exercise and food and all of that, sleep, it's crucial. And there's things you can do, of course, to improve that, and the quality of your sleep. So if you sleep and you are, chasing a tiger, even in your sleep, then that's not the good quality. If you wake up tired, then there's something that we need to pay attention there. So the quality of your dreams, of your sleep, how you wake up with energy, all of that. And allowing yourself that if someday, if you can, of course, you feel like you need to take a nap, that's incredibly powerful. Your body is telling you, I need to close my eyes and repair. I need to sleep, and that's wonderful. And so back to listening to allowing yourself to listen for those cues. Of course, having your phone next to your bed and the lights, all these things that I'm sure you heard many times, but there's a lot of help, a lot of things you can do to improve your sleep, and it's crucial. Yeah. Then we can go to the next one. That's just the same. We can go to the next slide. And Q&A. I'm sorry, I think I went a little bit longer, but Ronit, if you want to open it to questions, then I'm happy to answer.
Okay, if anybody would like to add any more questions, please make sure that you type your questions on the chat. We have a couple of questions here that came in earlier. Hold on 1 second. No, okay, here it is. What is your suggestion about cooking certain vegetables in certain oils? Is one.
Okay.
So that,
So
and
about
and
cooking
about temperature.
oils.
Yeah, and about temperature also on how to cook certain vegetables to bring out their maximum nutrition value. Also, what type of protein can you add daily into salad, as in like vegetarian protein?
Okay, so the cooking oil, I don't want to, it's a very hot topic. I'm going to tell you what I do, what I recommend as part of the anti-inflammatory diet, but there's many views and I don't have the truth. This is my truth and the anti-inflammatory world truth, the Mediterranean diet. So we mostly cook with first cold olive oil. If it's from one source, meaning one country, even better. But don't get too technical on that. So find one organic, first cold pressed olive oil. And for me, that's my primary cooking oil. No oil is good for deep frying. So we shouldn't deep fry. So there is no oil that will, I mean, we don't deep fry anything. And the reason is because we want that perfect omega-3. So the healing, why fat is so good and so healing and so anti-inflammatory, it's because of that omega-3. And olive oil is very high in omega-3. And when it's first cold pressed, it means that never before has been heated. So you're the first one that has add any heat to that oil. And therefore, it sustains more heat before the smoking point. So I use very good quality, expensive, I'm sorry, but it's expensive, good quality of oil for everything.
Don't apologize, Susan. Don't apologize. We always say you either spend it in food or you spend it in medicine.
100%, 100%. I also use when I want, let's say when I'm baking, I like to use coconut, expeller pressed coconut oil, again, organic. That also means it's the first time, it has never before gone through heat. So I will use that. Ghee, it's one of my favorites. Ghee and butter, organic, good butter. Please don't even go to margarine. I know. So if you want to parve, you do coconut, not margarine is the worst. I can't believe it's butter, none of that. So if you want parve, do the coconut oil, olive oil. Those are my top choices. Or good olive oils, coconut oil, ghee or organic butter will do. And any animal fat, it's the ones that that can have the highest heat. But of course, we don't fry it with butter or, I mean,
Susan,
kosher.
what about
It's
grapeseed
complicated.
oil, which has had a very good grapeseed oil and avocado oil?
Yeah, if it's expeller press, yes.
Yeah.
I like better olive oil. Expel press, expeller press. Organic is very important, but it has to say expeller press. But yes, yes. Don't ever buy like huge plastic bottles of oil. You should be able to replace it. So glass bottles, glass dark bottles are the ones that preserve that beautiful omega the most. And you should, like nuts and seeds, anything that has fat, you should be able to replace it often. Don't have a bottle of oil for years. That's no good. Or almonds or, yeah. And the second question was about protein. So I'm guessing it's plant-based protein that they
Yes,
want me to give
plant-based.
alternatives.
Yes,
And so
plant-based.
seeds are great. So nuts and seeds are great. Just make sure they're never roasted. Again, the same reasoning as the fat. It's a very unstable molecule. You want that omega to be intact. So you want it doesn't say raw, but it doesn't say roasted. So just good seeds and nuts. And when I say seeds, it's pumpkin, sunflower, hemp seeds. Those are great high omega, high protein, plant-based protein that you can add to your salads. Of course, lentils and chickpeas and tofu, fermented good tofu. What else can you add to? Well, you can add fish too, not as a plant-based, but as a good wild fish, and sardines and anchovies, or all these little fish are great, especially for women. So the moment you're eating, small fish has very little, no mercury actually, so it's very healthy. And any fish that you're actually eating their bones, It's very high in calcium, magnesium. It's just a super dense food. So talking about supplements, all the small fish are excellent source of vitamins and minerals. What else?
Susan, what about maca? I wanted, as far as the questions, I mean, I think that there's some people that are still coming in with a few questions. I wanted to talk about maca,
So,
because it has a
maca,
very interesting wrap as far as women goes. And
do you use it? And if so, for what?
so I literally just started using it,
Uh-huh.
and it was basically just because my mom had such a hard time with her change of season, for lack of a word, with her menopause. So
No, call it menopause. We call it.
I have been like petrified. Like I literally, like I felt that I needed to start like when I was back in my 30s to like really have an education, because I think that you can help it. So apparently maca powder has amazing properties, especially if you drink it at night. So that is kind of like one of the new waves kind of things that are showing up into all of these chats with healing
So
power.
this is a classic example, and I'm glad I asked you why you use it, because maca has many properties and many uses.
But it's also supposed to
stimulant.
help you sleep, actually, interestingly enough.
Yeah, well, yes, for some people it does, and for some people it's the opposite. So like anything, you should, I mean, I will never recommend one, no, I shouldn't say never, but especially menopause, it's something that many people react differently to supplements. I will never start with maca as my first and menopause is so many different things, like, so you have to be more specific. So we as integrative doctors, that's an excellent point that we're raising here, we never treat the disease. It just, you throw that to me, but it doesn't really mean anything, in the sense that you will tell me, Susan, I feel tired, in menopause context. So your manifestation of the menopause, I'm just making this up because I don't know
Well,
how it's
I'm not
manifested.
anywhere. No, regardless, I'm not even anywhere near menopause.
Or
but
your
it was
mom,
like,
or whatever your mom experienced. So you
correct,
can
correct,
have
but
one
it was
rule.
just like kind of like a preventative kind
Right,
of thing,
exactly.
thing that you can do to
I
get the
wouldn't
body
use it
ready.
as preventive. I wouldn't use it as preventive.
Okay.
I wouldn't use
It's
it
good
as
to know that
preventive.
that's
I
your
will
take.
use, yeah, I will definitely go towards lowering inflammation. And we go back to the same point. And so menopause to us, it doesn't mean anything. I need to see how is it that menopause is manifested in different people. And then we, through nutrition, lifestyle, and then if needed, supplement. Most of the time I do use supplements for severe menopause symptoms, from emotion to hot flashes to poor sleep. So I do need most of the time to intervene, but in the sense of prevention, first of all, I would not assume that because your mom, I will not go there. Because your mom had a hard time, your lifestyle, I'm assuming very differently.
Well, didn't you say that you get enough people that come to you already with predisposed things? Yeah,
I mean, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, yeah.
We have a couple more questions. What's your take on
Sure.
quinoa? What's
I
your
love
take on
quinoa. You should wash it very well. A big quinoa, it's wonderful. Don't overcook it so that it's mushy. I do it al dente so that it's crunchy. And there's a lot of recipes that I'm happy to share. Quinoa is wonderful. It's a high fiber, low glycemic protein. Love it, love it, love it. I love it.
Right.
Yes, easy to digest.
What's your take on vitamin C and vitamin D3? Which one do you recommend? Are gummy vitamins okay?
No, definitely not. Read the ingredients in gummies. Horrible. That's sugar. No. So gummies, no. Big no. Vitamin D, extremely important.
What about gummy vitamins with xylitol?
I need to read the ingredients to see.
Okay.
But why would you do a gummy? Just do a soft gel. It's very small. D3, it's just very easy. Very easy. I wouldn't do gummies. But xylitol is generally good.
Yeah.
Xylitol
In
is
small
good for
doses.
the teeth.
In small doses.
Yeah.
Don't go on
Yeah,
big doses
exactly.
because
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So D3, it's
end up in the
extremely
toilet.
important, especially now. So D3, I cannot tell you exactly the dosage because everyone is different. But if you have
What-
a recent blood work, your D3 should be higher than 40, especially now for COVID.
Which brands
And
do
so
you
the-
recommend? Sorry, Susan. Which brands for?
No, it's okay. I like Jarrow for D3. Jarrow, I'm going to write it here.
Yes, please.
And I can give you a couple of more labs if you need. But this is a very good brand, needs to be D3. I will say 95% of the people are in need of vitamin D3. So extremely important. Vitamin C, it's a good idea now in this year. Normally I will have C in my food, but we are taking extra vitamin C. There's one brand that I love that has quercetin, which I did mention before, that it's proven to be very good for inflammation and not letting the COVID get attached to the receptor, so not to replicate as fast. So your chances of fighting it are higher when you have quercetin. I'm gonna, again, if you want, actually, I think it's in the handout that I sent you, Ronit. So it's all there.
Okay. All right, Susan, I think we're almost at the top of the
Okay,
hour.
okay.
I
Yeah,
would like
sure.
for you to wrap things up and then I'm gonna just finish it up.
Yeah, no, so
Susan,
thank
give
you.
us your, can you write down your email, your contact information if anybody of us would like to ask,
Any question?
you in
Yes,
private? Yes, please.
absolutely.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So while Susan does that, I'm gonna do my part. Ladies, it takes a village, and really the best thing that I can recommend for all of you is to have somebody that you can go to on the spiritual side, have somebody that you can go to on the physical side, have somebody that you can go to on the integrative medicine side. And to be quite honest with you, since we're all Huizo people, please reach out to Susan. I mean, she really is phenomenal at what she does. She's given us so much, and the least that we can do is give back. Susan, thank you. I can't thank you enough. Love your style. Love how you roll. Again, ladies, reach out. Make yourself like really have that support, because it really does take, like Susan said, all of these areas are so important. And I just wish that we all can enjoy wellness. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for supporting Huizo. Thank you, Susan, for all that you always constantly do. And Regina, take it away. You can wrap this up.
Thank you so much. Remember, Susan did this a very, very, very good and right in time for anti-inflammatory receipts. If you don't have it yet, you can buy it in our Huizo website, $50 the book, and we have it. So,
and if you haven't seen somebody in a while, send them a book. It would be like a nice gift.
yes,
That's nice.
yes.
That's nice. Thank you, girls. This was so much fun. I love this conversation, and wonderful. Let's keep sharing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
all for
everybody.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye. Stay well.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're welcome. Thank you.